Have you ever felt like you're a magnet for manipulators? Like, no matter how much you try to protect yourself, they always seem to find you. You're not imagining it. There's a hidden pattern at play, a silent invitation you might unknowingly be extending. But once you see it, once you understand the Jungian forces at work, you can finally break free. It begins subtly. A charming smile, intense eye contact that feels like they're looking into your very soul. They listen, really listen, to your dreams, your fears, your deepest wounds. And then, slowly, meticulously, they begin to weave their web. You find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do. You walk on eggshells, calling it love, calling it compromise. You become an expert at deciphering their moods, anticipating their demands, sacrificing your own needs just to keep the peace. You feel perpetually confused, questioning your own memory, your own sanity. Did they really say that? Did that really happen? The ground beneath your feet feels unstable, shifting with every lie, every subtle put down. You start to isolate yourself. Your friends notice you're different, quieter, less vibrant. You defend your abuser, even when you know deep down they're hurting you. Shame wraps around you like a heavy cloak. You tell yourself, "It's my fault. If I were just better, kinder, more understanding, they wouldn't treat me this way." This isn't just about a bad relationship. This is about a profound erosion of self, a slow, agonizing theft of your inner light. And the most painful part, it often feels like you're the one attracting this darkness, like there's something inherently flawed within you that draws these emotional predators. You feel trapped, exhausted, and desperately alone in the fog. Why does this happen? Why you? Carl Jung offers us a profound, albeit sometimes uncomfortable lens through which to understand this dynamic. It's not about your flaws. It's about your unconscious vulnerabilities, often rooted in our shadow and persona. Jung spoke extensively about the persona. This is the mask we wear for the world, the curated self we present to society. It's the part of us that wants to be good, to be loved, to be seen as adaptable and kind. For many empaths and compassionate souls, the persona is heavily invested in being the nice one, the helper, the fixer. We unconsciously believe that if we are helpful enough, kind enough, selfless enough, we will be loved and protected. Now, consider the shadow. This is the unconscious part of ourselves that holds everything we've repressed, denied, or deemed unacceptable. It contains our unacknowledged anger, our unmet needs, our boundaries we were taught were selfish, our desires we deemed unworthy. For someone with a highly developed nice persona, their shadow might be bursting with unexpressed rage, deep-seated resentment, and a profound longing for healthy self-assertion. Here's where the manipulator comes in. They are often masterful at sensing these unconscious dynamics. They don't explicitly see your shadow, but they feel its energy. They identify the cracks in your persona, the places where your true, unexpressed needs reside. A manipulator isn't just looking for a victim. They're looking for someone whose unacknowledged needs or unintegrated shadow aspects can be exploited. Your need to be loved and accepted. Manipulators often mirror your deepest desires, showering you with initial adoration, making you feel seen and cherished in a way you've longed for. They tap into a wounded part of you that craves validation. Your fear of conflict. If your shadow contains a deep fear of anger or confrontation, a manipulator will sense this. They'll escalate conflict, knowing you'll back down to maintain peace, even at your own expense. They exploit your unconscious desire to avoid disharmony. Your desire to help or fix others. If your persona is heavily skewed towards being a savior, a manipulator will play the victim, presenting themselves as wounded and in need of your healing energy. They unconsciously recognize your repressed desire for control or significance through helping. Your suppressed boundaries. If your shadow holds all the healthy no's you've never said, a manipulator will push against every boundary, testing how much they can take. They are essentially calling forth the parts of you that have been denied expression. Jung would say that manipulators often project their own unknown shadow aspects onto you. They see their own control issues, their own neediness, their own darkness reflected in the way they treat you, but they attribute it to your perceived flaws. You made me do this. You're too sensitive. This is a classic example of projection, disowning their own toxic traits and externalizing them onto you, making you feel responsible. So, it's not that you're crazy or broken, it's that your deeply compassionate nature, combined with unacknowledged parts of your own psyche, your undeveloped boundaries, your suppressed anger, your unexpressed needs, creates a fertile ground for these dynamics to take root. They aren't choosing you because you are weak. They are choosing you because you are rich with unexpressed potential and a deep capacity for empathy, which they can pervert for their own gain. Understanding why they choose you is the first crucial step. Now let's talk about how to reclaim your identity, your truth, and your voice. This isn't about fighting them. It's about strengthening yourself. Here are 3 profound shifts in perception and strategy, deeply rooted in Jungian principles to finally end the cycle of manipulation. 1. Reclaim your shadow. Embrace your unacceptable emotions. The manipulator thrives on your fear of your own darkness, your anger, your resentment, your capacity for saying no. They keep you trapped by making you believe these emotions are bad or unacceptable. The first step to freedom is to consciously integrate your shadow. This doesn't mean becoming angry and aggressive. It means acknowledging that these emotions exist within you and that they serve a purpose. Anger, for instance, is often a boundary signal. It tells you when something is violating your core values or personal space. Practice active journaling. When you feel that familiar knot of frustration, confusion, or quiet resentment, don't suppress it. Write it down, freely, without judgment. I am angry because they said this. I feel disrespected because... Allow yourself to feel. Find a safe space, perhaps in nature or alone in your room, and consciously allow the anger to move through you. It's a powerful energy. It's not about acting on it, but about acknowledging its presence. This is how you begin to develop healthy aggression, which Jung saw as essential for self-protection. Set small, firm boundaries. Start small. No, I can't do that today. I need some alone time. When you feel that inner flinch of guilt, observe it. That's your old persona, resisting the integration of your shadow. With each no, you're building inner strength. 2. De-invest in the persona. Stop performing for them. You've likely been wearing a persona of compliance, niceness, and infinite understanding for so long, it feels like your true self. The manipulator feeds on this. They know you'll prioritize their comfort and approval over your own authenticity. To end the cycle, you must consciously begin to peel away the layers of this false self. Stop explaining yourself. Manipulators thrive on your need to justify, defend, and over-explain. This gives them ammunition and control. You do not owe them lengthy explanations for your choices or your boundaries. A simple, "No, that doesn't work for me," or "I'm not comfortable with that," is often enough. Prioritize your inner knowing. They want you to doubt your intuition. Start listening to that quiet voice inside. When something feels off, even if you can't articulate why, trust it. This is your unconscious self attempting to guide you. Shift your focus from their reaction to your integrity. Stop trying to manage their emotions or anticipate their next move. Instead, ask yourself, does this action align with my truth? Does it honor my boundaries? Does it protect my peace? 3. Understand. Projection. It's their shadow, not yours. When a manipulator accuses you of being selfish, crazy, controlling, or too emotional, they are almost always projecting their own unowned shadow traits onto you. They cannot face these aspects within themselves, so they externalize them and attribute them to you. Recognize the mirror. When they lash out with an accusation, pause. Instead of immediately defending yourself, ask yourself, Is this true about them? Are they being selfish? Are they being controlling? Almost always, the answer will be yes. This realization is incredibly disarming. It shifts the focus from your perceived flaw to their unacknowledged darkness. Do not internalize. Their projections are not about you. They are about their own inner landscape. When they hurl an insult, imagine it as a dark cloud passing through the sky. You observe it, but you don't let it rain on your parade. You don't take it in. Refuse to engage the projection. You don't need to argue with the projection. If they say, "You're so selfish," you can respond with a calm, "I hear you," or "That's your perception," or even just silence. Do not try to convince them otherwise. Their projection serves their narrative, not yours. By embracing your full self, including your shadow, by disinvesting from a compliant persona, and by recognizing the mechanism of projection, you dismantle the very foundation upon which manipulators build their power. You move from being an unconscious participant in their game to an aware individual reclaiming your sovereignty. This isn't just about escaping a toxic person. This is about a profound process of individuation. Carl Jung believed that individuation is the lifelong psychological process of differentiating the self from the conscious and unconscious elements of the psyche. It's the journey of becoming your unique, whole, authentic self. And paradoxically, often the most painful experiences, like enduring manipulation, are the very catalysts for this deeper awakening. Think of it this way. The manipulator, in their unwitting role, has forced you to confront your unintegrated parts. They've illuminated the areas where your persona was too rigid, where your shadow was too repressed, where your boundaries were too porous. They didn't cause your wounds, but they mercilessly exposed them. And in that raw exposure lies the opportunity for profound healing and growth. This journey out of the manipulative fog isn't just a relationship ending. It's a false self collapsing, the self that prioritized external validation over inner truth, the self that believed it needed to be good at all costs, even if it meant sacrificing its own well-being. That self is dying, and a stronger, more integrated, more authentic self is beginning to emerge from its ashes. The pain you've experienced is not a punishment, it is a profound lesson. It's the universe, or your deeper self, screaming at you to listen, to awaken, to reclaim your power. Every tear shed, every moment of confusion, every instance of self-doubt was a stepping stone on this path. It pushed you to look inwards, to question why you kept attracting these patterns. And that questioning is the very beginning of individuation. You are moving from a state of unconscious compliance to conscious awareness. You are learning to say no, not out of anger, but out of a deep reverence for your own being. You are learning to recognize the true nature of projections, understanding that others' perceptions of you often reflect their inner world, not yours. This process is messy. It's uncomfortable. There will be moments of grief for the person you thought you were, and for the relationships you hoped would be different. But on the other side of that, grief is liberation. A quiet strength that comes from truly knowing yourself, flaws and all. You are no longer defined by what others do to you, but by how you choose to respond, how you choose to integrate, and how you choose to grow. This is the alchemy of the soul. You are not a magnet for manipulators because you are weak. You are a magnet because of the deep, rich well of empathy, compassion, and untapped inner power that you possess. And now, you know how to protect that sacred energy. You are not broken, you are not too much, you are just finally waking up.